See all the tainted teeth of chewing, what you call betel nuts and tobacco. He was wearing a typical Fulham shirt where the cuffs were not buttoned. He had a small towel on his shoulder and a long trouser. This is a typical village farmer's attire in Karnataka. I could recognize immediately this guy had been a landlord at some point of time. Now I don't know what is his name. The way he walked in and looked at aimlessly into the eatery, I felt and sensed that he wanted food. So I asked him in Kannada, do you need food? He said yes. There was no sense of regret or an indication of he begging. He was only asked yes, why not, sort of. And I said, would you like to eat? He said yes. What do you want to eat? What will you give? I asked him, okay, what do you have? He said some rice sambar, some dosa, something. I said, what do you want? He said rice sambar. How much do you want? Get me a full plate. Okay, I told him, give him a full plate of rice sambar. Do you need anything else? Can you give some bhaji? Yeah. I gave him one plate bhaji also. He got and I paid and I walked out. Next day I went to the same eatery and I asked that owner, what is this old man? He didn't look like a beggar, but he was very upfront when he was hungry, he wanted food. When I asked him, he took it very graciously. At the same time, did not bring down his dignity also. What is this all about? He said this guy had a land in Devnalli Road and it was acquired as part of the expansion. And whatever money he got out of this went off. And now he has distributed the money among his sons, kith and kin. Now he is left to fend for himself. Though he is there in the family, whenever he is hungry, he don't know where to go for food. And before he knew, the only thing which he knew in his life was raising crop, selling it and making money, having some money for himself. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters in this. This is the plight of growth. It is not new to this country. I am not talking about what we see today. When you move back in centuries, when you say 5000 BC or 3000 BC, where our forefathers, the Neanderthals, Homo sapiens were inhabiting this world, they lived in caves and they were part of the environment in which they were living. They didn't build concrete houses. They lived in caves or a small place where they reside on a tree top, and they never disturb their environment. Sometimes they will be killed by the wild beast, or sometimes they kill the wild beast for them. They live seamlessly with the ecology around them. As man grew, when Homo sapiens came across and evolved into a human being, they moved to greener pastures where there were flowing water, like a river. Then they got an idea of cultivation, they got fire, and slowly the cultivation and yield from crops gave them power. More powerful you are, you can acquire more. People who are not willing to stay in the society moved to greater pastures where they found similar green areas, similar water-borne areas, and started becoming landlords in their own way. When these communities were small, there was no disturbance, still the ecology was maintained. When this community grew in size, they started occupying the lands which were for other beings, living beings. They started clearing the forest and making way for their own living. We also have the Mahabharata which says the entire Indraprastha was created after putting the entire forest on fire, and they created the entire palace of Indraprastha. The curse was what Mahabharata war was all about. That was one of the living example how we burned the entire forest to build a palace for a king and his kith and kin. This continued centuries after centuries after centuries. If you read this book called Ishmael, 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 written by Daniel Quinn, he traces the history of how human expansion and growth has shrunk the world and made the animals and other living beings in this to shrink to smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Now we have come to a concept of reserve. This animal reserve or a sanctuary. In the pretext of protecting them, we encroach more. It is not about living things. Today, if you find a lake area in Bangalore, it is no more lake area. Bomnahalli is a residential area. Sanjay Nagar Lamas Colony is a residential area. When it rains, all water goes and connects there because it's a natural collecting point for the geography. So we, in our interest to grow, have shrunk the world for living things till now, and now we are shrinking the world for fellow human beings. I don't know whether what Lennon meant, life is what happens to you when you are busy making other plans. When you are busy making other plans, please remember you are shrinking the world of other human beings also. Like this old man who was shrunk from being a big landlord to a person who is looking at a midday meal to somebody. Right? So this data is available to us, around us, every day we see. If you go on a highway today, any national highway which has been built newly, you will find an old man or a farmer or a farming community villager trying to cross the road and struggling to cross the road. We are generally an irritated driver. Why can't they cross properly? Why are they coming? We have occupied their land. Go to Hosur Atipete, you will find the same thing. You go to Devanahalli towards the airport, you will find this. You will be cursing the villager who has lost his land and is unable to adjust to this environment because you have expanded yourself without any care of concern. There are enough data available for us on these lines, which I don't know how we are going to solve it because growth is inevitable. At the same time, we are also affecting people around us. Right? There are so many things which we can do. I don't know how far we'll be able to do. One of the suggestions given by Daniel Quinn in his book is the small village community, if they find in the tribal village, if they cannot expand beyond this and the resources will be depleted, they put a stop to marriage. No more marriages for till such time the head or the chief of the clan says, no more marriage. So it ensures that the population growth in that clan is stopped and they start to it. We cannot do that, but we have to look at other clans. How we are going to. If you continue doing this, you may land up. Tomorrow I may encroach your land, or you may encroach my land in the name of growth. So make your plans, be busy, but be sensitive to your environment in such a way that we coexist. Else, I don't know whether you have time to convert drainage water to drinking water like they did in Singapore. You may be forced to drink drainage water itself because there won't be enough water available for you because you are depleting the natural resources. So be aware. More information you can go through Ishmael.